Now, the first thing that you need to do is to start deep within, is to start at a place that creates this attention. Instead of trying to cause this attention, you want to create something inside you that causes this attention automatically. And the way to do that is to create an insatiable curiosity, a curiosity about her. Now, you know you're interested in her, right? You're interested in her. Obviously, you're interested in her if you're attracted to her or whatever. You're interested in her. But turn that interest in her into an interest about her. And this is a practice that you have to engage in, and you have to teach yourself to do this. You have to teach yourself to do this, to turn your interest in people even to an interest about those people, an interest in a person to an interest about them. Now, why and how can you do that? Think about why you're interested in somebody. You're interested in her maybe in the beginning because she's attractive, maybe she radiates some kind of health or beauty or some kind of intelligence or something about her that you want to know more, that attracts you towards her. Recognize that attractive force that's pulling you towards her, there's more to that. In order for you to know more about that, you have to know more about her. So learn to turn your interest in somebody, in a woman, into an interest about that woman. And by doing that, by having an interest about her, you become curious about her. And by being curious about her, your whole mind becomes focused on her and the conversation and all the stuff she's saying and all the stuff she's doing, and makes you a powerful conversationalist, because by being interested in that, you're not distracted. Your mind, again, we're talking about what to think about to replace the other thoughts. It's just a multiple positive there, because you're pushing all the other unuseful thoughts out of your mind and you're filling it with things that make it, so productive and so useful for the conversation, because you're going to have so many things to hook into to bring the conversation to a more breadth and more depth and a better conversation overall. So you want to watch her, and you want to watch her face and watch her body. Now, I don't mean watch her like a body language analysis expert trying to figure out what she's saying and reading her mind and is she lying and stuff. I'm saying watch her because you care about how she feels and how she feels connected to the things that she's saying. You want to watch her with your periphery. Don't be inspecting your facial expressions to the point where it becomes analytical, but be paying attention to how she moves and how she laughs and how she smiles, because there's going to be points in her conversation of what she's saying that she really weighs in on a word, or she has a big facial expression for a place that she went, or she kind of sinks her body back telling a story about work, and there's an emotional connection to those words, and therefore you're going to kind of hone in on that part of the conversation. You're going to pay more attention to that. All right. Now, another thing, very kind of particular piece about how to really hold what she's saying and she's talking about in your mind. I call it making movies in your mind. So when a girl is talking to you, a woman is talking to you, and maybe for example she says, "Oh, I was just out traveling." When a woman says that to me, I instantly see in my mind all these possible pictures of where she could be. Maybe she's at a business conference in Switzerland. Maybe she's in Thailand backpacking. Maybe she's in New York visiting friends, and boom, boom, boom. I see all these movies in my mind, all these possibilities. And as soon as I do that, I create a sort of cognitive dissonance in my mind between all these possibilities, alternate possibilities. They couldn't all be true. She couldn't have been in all of these places at the same time. So what happens is I had become curious about, well, which one is it? Or is it something else? And so out of my unconscious mind automatically comes this question, well, where did you go? And it's not an interrogating question that's, well, she just said she went traveling, so I should ask her, where did she go? So I'm going to say, where did you go? No, it comes from a place of a desire to know, because I've got all these conflicting ideas and images that were created out of my curiosity about her and my paying attention to her, right? So make movies in your mind on everything she says. Just follow her words, follow her story, and you will find it interesting. If you're shifting your interest in her to an interest about her, I don't care who it is. I tell you right now, there's nobody on this planet, as long as they speak the right language and I can understand them, there's nobody on this planet that I cannot find an interest about. Because everybody's got a story, everybody's got a life. I mean, there's people living and breathing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, and they're going through massive numbers of experiences. Things are coming in, they're creating all these pictures in their mind, they're feeling things. And not everybody's going to report it back to you in such a huge, lively way, but if you pay attention to somebody massively, there's so much more communication than you're normally seeing. And if you pay attention to a woman with intensity, and you really focus on her, there's going to be so much information coming out, and there's so many things, movies and pictures you can make in your mind, and from that creates your desire for more, and from that desire comes the questions, and from the questions come her answers. And a woman loves to be the center of a conversation. If you're asking her and you're engaging her constantly, she's going to feel like you're a great conversationalist, not just because you're playing some game and asking questions the whole time, because that's the difference between interrogation and an authentic, interested, curious conversation. Now, if you go in with a bunch of like tools and techniques and tricks to try to like ask a girl questions over question after question, it's going to feel like interrogation. You don't want that. You want it to come from a place of real desire to know. And on a subtle level, she can tell the difference. Girls are hardwired for this stuff, man. They are like, and they've been doing it since they could talk. I mean, girls spend their time talking to each other about life and about feelings and about things. So they know what you're doing and what you're thinking on the inside. They might not be fully conscious of it, but they get a gut feeling. If you're interrogating versus if you're genuinely interested, it makes a difference. So, ask as many questions as you can. Keep her the center of your attention. And she's going to ask questions about you too. If she's a fair conversationalist, she's going to ask questions and give real answers. Go off and tell a little bit of stuff. But as soon as there's an opportunity to naturally flip on back to her using your curiosity and your interest, then do so. Don't just answer real quick with 2 words and then flip it back, because then again it feels like interrogation. Let it come from within. Answer about yourself. And then when you feel that moment where that curiosity about her just starts to bubble up again, let it flow out. Let it flow out naturally. So to review, the secret to never running out of stuff to say with a woman is to simply stop choking on your conversation. Stop choking on your conversational flow. And why does that happen again? It happens because there's analysis paralysis going on. You're using up your working memory, or your mental RAM, if you will, for stuff that is not helping the conversation. Stuff like your attempt to control every aspect of what you're doing, stuff like your worries about your losing or failing, worries about confirming something that she might think about you, or that you're worried that she might think. Maybe she thinks I'm not a good conversationalist, and then you're worried about not being that, or you're worried about a moment of silence. Your social filter is too strong. You're not letting enough stuff out, and you don't be able to converse socially like you normally would with a friend, a close friend, or somebody you're in a relationship with. And you're thinking about what you're doing. You have that pink elephant in your mind. You have that her friends or my friends, or you're sleeping with her, seeing her naked, or what does she think of me? And that thought is taking up that space in your mind that should be used for the conversation itself. And again, so we said the solutions were to not be trying to control everything you're doing. Take some time to get in a state, relax, use your techniques, whatever they are, and take your time before you go out socializing. Just do your 10 minutes of meditation each day, just focusing on relaxation. Instead of not being worried about stuff, look into your values and your beliefs and about your identity and where you're looking for value, where you're looking for validation for what people think about you. That's a big piece. But shortcut for that short term is desensitization. Get out there and do it over and over and over again. Get some reference experiences that the things you're worried about aren't really going to happen. Therefore, you won't be so much worried about them. But again, being aware that can atrophy like a muscle. If you don't practice for a while, it can start to go back because the beliefs and identities haven't been dealt with. And the last piece is you're thinking about that pink elephant, thinking about the worries, thinking about other things. The only way to get rid of it is to think about something else. And what are we going to think about? We're going to think about her, all about her in the conversation. We're shifting our interest in her to an interest about her. We're becoming genuinely, authentically curious about her. Therefore, we become automatically focused and interested on her. We're paying attention to her words, paying attention to her face, to her body, to what she's doing. Not consciously, but unconsciously. We just have an intention to watch her, to care about how she feels in relation to the things she's talking about. We're making movies in our mind about all the things she's saying. When she talks, we see pictures. We see things moving. We see her face. We see her places. We see her doing things. We see her with other people. Conflicting images. And because they're conflicting, that dissonance in our mind creates a curiosity. Well, which one is it? And we ask automatically, authentically. And she can feel that. There's a difference between questions coming from that desire to know versus a desire to impress by using questions as an interrogator. So go out there, have conversations with women from 0 to whenever the conversation ends, whether it's 5 minutes in or years later or never. If you start that conversation, let it flow, let it always flow. Pay attention to her, care about her, be interested in what she says, and then come back on this blog and put your comments down. I want to know how much of a difference this makes for you guys, because again, I'm not an expert conversationalist. I've been paying attention to my own use of language for probably over a decade now, been deeply in persuasion. I've done a lot of different things that apply to conversation. about analyzing, and I'm really, really interested in analyzing what's happening deeply inside of me, you know, having total presence with the process, what happens when you're in flow, when you're having a great conversation. And this is the stuff that I've come up with. So come back, share your ideas, share what happens when you go out there. Thanks so much for watching, and definitely be coming back to the blog, because there's going to be more stuff coming out, and I'm going to be having more videos and more recordings from workshops up soon. So thanks again, and good luck.